What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back. The Inside Wisconsin Show here on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. Trevor Thomas, he is John Anderson, and we are living in a great time in Wisconsin. I know you're in Missouri, but you're vicariously through us right now. Brewers, let's go. Packers. I watched back a little bit of our...
You just went, he's John Anderson, and pointed like I'm right next to you.
Well, you on the screen, you are right next to me.
No, at least on my screen, I'm the other way. But okay.
It's a mirrored thing. So we'll just go. And he's John Anderson. There you go. You're welcome. We'll just get it covered.
There goes your career as a weatherman.
I watched back a little bit of our Packers preview episode this morning.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us, according to that episode, saw what happened coming. Whoa.
No. Flabbergasted.
Amazing.
And for a lot of reasons. One, I just think the Lions are the class of the division still. There's nothing that leads you to believe after the season they had in the offseason where, yes, they lost their coordinators, but let's start with players, and they have good ones. And so that I thought they were a more talented football team. I don't think that's a mean thing. So I thought, okay, there's that. They've had really good success at Lambeau the last couple of times they've gone in there and not been intimidated. It's actually been it's actually worked the other way around, right? The visiting teams played better. And then the Packers had some questions, right? Your quarterback hadn't played since, the first preseason game. All these guys that were, they'll be back. They're still on the questionable list, except for Hobbs, who didn't make it back. And then the preseason, they played so unbelievably poor. And not just, at least in my mind, it wasn't just, they're preseason. I get sometimes you get run over because you're just doing vanilla stuff. But it was like they couldn't stay on side, right? They couldn't get a snap count. They couldn't go a play without holding anybody. And I don't care. That's even worse because you're like, okay, you're playing against second and third team guys and you're holding them. Like, they had each of them, they had, I think double-digit penalties, at least two. Like, there was nothing that said that's what they were going to do. And the offense was good enough. Love was really good. I don't know that I ever saw a guy run his butt off more for 66 yards than Josh Jacobs, Like, there's nothing there. But, like, dude, we're going to need you to feed you the literally feed you the Lions for a little bit just to make sure all this other stuff works. And, I don't know what he's listed at, but whatever he is today, he's 2 inches shorter from getting pounded.
Oh, man.
But at the end, when they needed it, he kind of, there you go. They'd worn him down a little bit. He got the yards he needed, but his was a yeoman effort. And then the defense, that squad's still pretty darn good on their offensive side. And they took those two backs who are crazy good and just shut them down. And other than a couple of third downs early where you're like, okay, they're going to throw to St. Brown. Like, come on, people. But that was a pretty salty group. And I think you see the impact that Micah Parsons makes just with limited stuff. Like, he takes up dudes, right? Even when he's not getting there, he takes up dudes. And that means other guys get to run around a lot easier. He makes life's work easier for a lot of other dudes.
And I was really happy to see this, but they announced the 2010 Super Bowl team. And when Micah Parsons came out at the beginning of the game, the pop that he got when he was announced was gigantic.
Yeah.
But the pop that Mike McCarthy got when they announced his name and he said hi, man, that was really cool to see because he meant a lot to this organization. So it was a great weekend here in Green Bay all around. And it's a great weekend in Milwaukee, too. All right, I was going to go Brewers.
And then, no, I was just going to go. And then, like, of all of it, when I looked down, because I'm watching the other game, like, the Nats, who are terrible, put 5 in the ninth on the Cubs. And I'm just like, okay. The golfer, when you putt, and you're always like, one time. You're right. You've seen that guy. One time. Yeah. By the way, he yells it on every hole, but one time. And I thought, man, this weekend I've had a lot of one times go in. Like, I don't know when the next time I can have that between that, the Packers, the Missouri. Like, I spent a lot of capital in karma this weekend, and I'm hoping that somewhere, we get to October that I'm going to run into all these. They're going to be like, dude, we'd love it for you to go your way, but you pretty much used all that up there on the first weekend of September. So we'll see what happens.
Well, see how it goes. So on today's show, we pivot to the Brewers and make sure we catch up and see what's going on there with our guy, Craig Coshun. He's been at FanDuel/Bally/FS Wisconsin for 25 years. Nobody knows the crew like Craig Coshun. It's a great combo. So please sit back, enjoy, belly up, do what you do. Craig Coshun on the Inside Wisconsin Show.
The Inside Wisconsin Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Lanes Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Amplify Health, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Legit Pizza, Miller Lite, and North Star Mohican Casino Resort.
We know his face, we know his voice, we know his title and his name. Craig Coshun, FanDuel Sports Network, Brewers Live, Bucks Live. My favorite title that he had, J.A., was the sports director at the station I grew up watching, NBC 15 in Madison.
Yeah.
We'll go there and all the way here. Craig Coshun on the Inside Wisconsin Show. What's up, Craig? Good to see you.
Good to see you guys too. It's what a Sunday it was. What a weekend it was. Did anybody lose in this state? I mean, cap it off with that Packer game. Man, it was a fun one for sure. So I'm giddy. I'm never in a good mood on Mondays unless all my teams win. So this seems like a little rarity where it all happened together.
Love it.
And Trev, right, we have no idea how good a weekend it was. It has nothing to do with what happened inside the borders of the state. So I love that Trev, he introduced you as FanDuel. I find this amazing as someone who left a job after 25 years. Like, despite all the name changes, I feel like you've had the same job for 25 years. Like, what's it like to work at the same spot, same kind of organization for 25 years from somebody that's not me?
Well, the good thing about all those years and all those changes that, you follow the same blueprint. I mean, we're doing a pre and post game show, and somehow we've weathered some storms along the way. But I think the base of it is a couple of things. We have great people that work for us in our production. We have a great announce team. We have the most honest, sincere, hardest working people behind the scenes that make everything technically great for us. So I mean, that's been a constant. I've been around for 25 years doing this for both of these teams, but we've got guys in our staff behind the scenes on our crew that have been here much, much longer. So for me, that's what makes it really exciting. And then the other thing is, to be honest with you, just it's the two teams, it's the Bucks and the Brewers. So it's not like, we've had to cover, 10 different teams or had to move around or anything like that. The teams have been great to work for. They've made us feel like part of the family. So I think that's how you weather it, you enjoy it, and you stick around. And I'm just lucky to be here. I've always said I want to ride the wagon until the wheels fall off, and so far there's a lot of air in the tires, so that's the good part.
But do you ever feel fortunate, like there's the watermark on screen, so in case you get lost, you can look down. I'm like, am I Fox Midwest Valley's fan? Like, I feel like that's got to be super helpful.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey, John, I write everything down to make sure I don't get anything wrong, but I still get just about everything wrong anyway. So the funny part about that is I'll say the wrong thing, and then after the show, my great producers will say, you know what you said there, didn't you? I'm like, oh, why didn't you tell me? No, we got to press forward. So
Sure.
It's just fun though.
Hit the dump button.
Mm-hmm.
You said, though, that you've never worked a day in your life, that you grew up a Wisconsin sports fan, you went to college here in Wisconsin, and now you're working in every Wisconsin sports fan's dream job. So what has it been like to punch a clock at your dream job for the last 25 years?
Well, it's been great. I'm right around the corner from being 40 years in this state. The very first job I had was when I was still in school. My first paying job in broadcasting was doing overnight radio up in Wausau at an AM and an FM station up there, and that was 1986. So I'm literally approaching 40 years in the business and finishing up all the different schools I went to across the state. It took me a while, but we got here, and then first job in Eau Claire, then Madison, and then the 25 years is after all of the things I've just talked about too. So it's been great to stay here in this state. There's nothing more enjoyable than sports to me. And I think the state, 98% of the people probably feel the same way. So the great part is wherever you go, whatever you do, you can talk to, all the fans, and people say, oh, I don't mean to talk, shop with you and whatnot. And I enjoy it. I'm sure you guys love it too. I mean, it's what we do. So that's where it all goes from not working a day in your life. I mean, it's been a pleasure being around everybody, and yes, there are stressful times. Sometimes you wear it. I'm getting old, but it's been great, man. It still makes me feel young.
There's been so many changes especially if you go back your 40 years, like I am. We've got to be close to the same age. Whether it's the content, whether it's the delivery, whether it's the consumption, the business has gone younger. People are now influencers. The business has gone cheaper. I want to know from your side of it, especially with 25 years of Brewers, just your thoughts on what the value is of institutional knowledge, just knowing stuff and knowing those teams like you do.
Well, you got to kind of live and breathe it. You know that, John. You just do. But I think the thing that has helped me along the way with all the different people that have come across both Bucks and Brewers organizations, and then on our staff, I think when we get new people on board, no matter who they are, whether it's the new owners of each franchise, I've seen all that go through. CEOs, our network changing and our personnel changing and our announcers changing. The very first thing I always say to these people, if you need to know anything from what happened back in the yesteryear, come to me, because I just remember all those days. You grow up as a kid, just absorbing all of it. And my family, big sports fans, and everyone I grew up around. So that part of me, I think that I probably take the most pride in right now. It's just in your head. It's just who you are. So I remember, I don't even know why some names pop up sometimes, but I remember when Bart Starr was named head coach, and what that meant to everybody in the state. I was still a kid when that happened. Just crazy, stupid little things like that. And back in the 1982, when the Brewers went to the World Series, I was down at the parade. I worked for the team as an usher back then. So I actually, you talk about not working a day in your life. I actually got paid to be there for all of that and their first playoff runs and stuff. So, it was a great ride. So, and hopefully it'll still continue a little bit here, but when you're around as long, you just remember everything. And as long as you enjoy it, it's always going to be there for you.
Were you working Game 5 against the Angels?
Yes. Yep. Yep. You bet.
Wow.
You bet. We went, in fact, I think one of the first games at that 81 season where we started the season and then they had the strike and then they came back and finished it up. I was on one of the dugouts. I can't remember which one. I think it was the Brewers side, because everybody rushed the field, and they don't do that anymore. But I mean, I was down on the fields, a few times during those big days. They basically said, get down on the field or stand on the dugout, and if people come running past you, just tell them to stop, but you can't grab or touch anybody. So it's like, so what are we doing here? So 50,000 people would run past you anyway, but it was the coolest thing in the world. And you couldn't help. They're like, look at the stands, make sure nobody, gets too crazy or whatever. But I was like, damn, look what's happening behind me. Ted Simmons is jumping up and Raleigh Fingers is carrying him around. This is crazy stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of memories for sure.
Look like Kevin Bacon in Animal House. Remain calm.
Exactly.
Screaming
That is not happening.
So, Craig, you've been doing the pre and post and the reporting since you got here with the network, whatever the name of the network has been along the way, since 2001. What are some of the key moments that you remember most doing your gig going, wow, pinch me, this is awesome?
Well, the first day, I mean, Bill Schroeder, Rock, and I were on the very first broadcast of opening Miller Park. Now, it was a exhibition game against the White Sox, but it was a big time test run for getting our broadcast up and running, and it was the first time that we were actually Fox Sports, and so all the execs were there. I basically got hired like the day before because they brought this thing together so quickly. And then of course Rock was there, Matt Vasgersian they were announcing together back then. So it was basically the three of us. I was the add-on because we started doing some pregame shows, and that's one of the biggest highlights. And there's still film of that running around somewhere, but it's fun to look back at what you did, how fast you talked compared to now. Forget about the pictures and the age and everything. That's always fun. But yeah, that one stands out. And then 2008 when they finally clinched a playoff berth after all those years, an unforgettable day, just the way everything went down. Sabathia's run.
Oh.
The day he got traded here, I was one of every other Brewer fan absolutely stunned at that trade. And just to have him come in and actually do what he did. And he was just a great teammate. He himself would never put himself in front of anybody else. And I think that showed down the stretch when he said, I'll take the ball every 3 days, whatever it takes. I can do this for you guys. I can do this for this team. So, I mean, gosh, I could go on and on, all the way over to the Bucks, winning a championship. I really honestly thought in my heart of hearts, people would ask me all the time, who do you think's going to win a championship first, the Brewers or the Bucks? And I just thought the Brewers had built themselves better to win a championship. And but then there was this guy named Giannis who just continues to develop even at this stage of his career. And when you have guys like that on your team, you're going to win a championship, and they pulled it off. That was really cool. Steve Novak and I called a parade on our network that was also on NBA TV. So it aired everywhere. And he and I, sat down in the Deer District and just talked parade. Nothing like we have ever done before. I've never done anything like that in my life. I hope I get to do one more at least, but that was the coolest thing for a couple of hours, just, watching these guys and the buses and the people and, the community and everybody coming together and just basically talking about how you grew up in this state and what it meant, especially 50 years apart from championships. So, that just sticks out top of my head.
So we have a team that probably could be in championship contention coming through. Like, we'd be shocked if they did not, from what they've shown us with this Brewer team. I mean, they're pretty good. In your opinion, how come?
Well, I think it's just a reflection of the manager. Somehow Pat Murphy has got a connection with these guys, and it might be the old cliche to use there, but it's certainly not when you dig in and you see, what this guy's doing for this franchise and how he's really trying to be a coach, a developer, and a dad, and maybe a granddad in some way to some of these guys. Who can say that they have a mix of that experience, unless you're a guy very similar to Pat Murphy in this world? So there's that, but it does come down to what the philosophy is of the team and what path they have chosen. And I think that they have done just a great job of saying, we got to find, the right players that can develop and play this style of baseball. And they keep drafting these guys and signing these guys and these young kids and giving second chances. Their scouting department's, to me, second to none. I mean, baseball only succeeds if you have deep roots in who you see as a fit for your team. And I think over the years, this is where this team has developed and been superior to most others in the league right now.
So they clearly have their identity, and this is who we are and how we play. But as I listen to people around here, because, I'm right in the middle of St. Louis Cardinals country, best fans ever, just ask them. But I feel like, and I don't know if you get this vibe because you're kind of at the ballpark and not, but as you look at the national perception of this team, it seems to be so much of this little engine that could, small market, and we kind of maybe lose track that actually, as it turns out, there are some just really good dudes on this team that are playing Terang and Frelick and Yelich and Contreras. Like they may not be Soto contracts, but do you think we get undersold that people don't realize there's really good players on this club?
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, the little engine that could thing is to me, it's just strictly market size. Yeah, they have the smallest market, in baseball, but really, they've got a they've got a pretty good steam engine, and that steam engine's big and powerful, and it's brand new. It just may not have cost $700 million, to bring one guy to run the engine. You know what I mean? So. They're carrying a train, and all the guys they're on that team, it's not a single engine thing. So that's kind of the remarkable thing about it, and it can be done. I mean, Tampa Bay did it for a while. They're still doing it, in their own way right now. And Matt Arnold came out of that organization. I think that the thing about how this all got developed too is when David Stearns came in and then he hired Matt, you had an analytical, scholar in David, and then you had a guy that had a lot of baseball background as a scout with Matt, and they developed this thing kind of together. And when David left, Matt was obviously the guy that you want to promote, and that was the right move. But now, since he has come in, his mark has been finding those guys like Andrew Vaughn, who were top picks at one point and never developed with their franchise. Quinn Priester, the same thing. Number one pick for that franchise, but never developed. And he wasn't developed the way that the Brewers would do it. So they bring guys in and they say, this is what we see in you. This is how we have mapped out a path for you to succeed. Are you in? Who wouldn't be in on that? And so that's Isaac Collins is the same way when they went out and got him a couple of years ago. Came up through how they develop guys in the minor leagues. So he experienced that end of it. Finding a guy like Jackson Churio, and at such a young age, I mean, Matt Arnold looks at this guy at 18, 19 years old and says, he's going to be in the majors in 2 years. Watch. And not only that, I'm going to give him a big contract when he's 19 years old. That's crazy stuff for that size franchise. But this guy's the key to it, in my opinion.
I said on the radio a few weeks ago, we're not the little engine that could anymore. We're Thomas the Tank now, boys. We're Thomas the Tank. We've got it all figured out. All right, more with Craig Coshun from FanDuel Sports Network, Brewers, Bucks in just a bit. The Inside Wisconsin Show.
The Inside Wisconsin Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Lane's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Amplify Health, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Legit Pizza, Miller Lite, and North Star Mohican Casino Resort.
My buddy Brett chimed in this morning, and his Packer tailgate report was this.
Okay.
At 12:15 yesterday, the Packers parking lot was full. So we're recording this on the Monday after the home Packers game. Yep. That means the grocery and tailgating headquarters of the Green Bay Packers, Festival Foods, was slammed with business. Because when that parking lot's full, you know darn well the tailgates are alive and well. And that hasn't been a thing over the last few years. I think people are just, getting used to getting back in it. But there was some excitement for this one. A full 3 hours before the game, the parking lot and the people were out and about. When are you coming back? You coming back, Freddie?
No, I don't know exactly when or if. I know Katie is coming back for the Eagles game, my daughter, because she wants to go see Mr. Van Pelt. So she's got to go see the Von Schnitz and then maybe meet Jason Kelsey. So she's all in on that sort of thing. That's what we know right now. What's going to happen. I do have this question because you talked about it was a late start, right? It's a 3:25 start, which is kind of convenient for that. So this week here in town, we had a 2:30 start. And then I think the next one we have is we got like an 11 a.m. How do you enjoy the breakfast tailgate better, or do you like the afternoon tailgate or evening tailgate?
So the answer to that is yes, but I love the breakfast tailgate. I mean, I really do. I'd shared that with you last time when.
Well, yeah, I know you told me, the great lengths you go to do that. I just didn't know that if that was clearly one, it's dictated by necessity in the clock. I just want to know, like, as a thing, like I went to a game at Auburn and we got there and it's 8:15 and I realized I have a donut, a Miller Lite, and some guy hands me a mason jar of apple pie moonshine.
Ooh, owie, careful.
But it's 8:15.
Bloody Mary.
You're like 8:15. You're like, I don't know if this is where we should go. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we stopped. It just means we gave pause to think about it and then moved on. But I'm just wondering if you prefer that,
I do because it allows more recovery time.
Breakfast Sammy is not terrible.
Not terrible.
You get a little breakfast Sammy.
Sammy, a Miller Lite, and all the ingredients come from Festival Foods. Festfoods.com/Packers.
There you on the spot right there.
Yeah. Let me know where the tailgate is. Point and tell me a time. I'm there. Time for another top 5 list here on the Inside Wisconsin show. And as always, either John prepares the list or I prepare the list, or we just kind of compare lists. Last time, I threw a couple curveballs your way with some jersey numbers at the pack, but this time it's your turn to throw pitches. What do we got?
Those were fraudulent jersey numbers because you're just picking out random numbers,
It was a random supply.
So while we talk about the Brewers, and we heard Craig talk about scouting and development. That's their key. That's really their gift in that organization, how they teach, how they develop, how it's system-wide. So I just thought we'd take a quick review and see how many of the Brewers minor league teams, like how much you know about the farm system. These aren't guys. These aren't any particular players. I don't expect you to know the 18-year-old kid they drafted out of high school in the 33rd round. But I'm just wondering how you are, like, on name your Brewer minor league teams.
Okay.
You want to take a shot at this?
I do. In no particular order?
Well, I'll feed you where they are, and you can tell me if you know who that is.
Okay, so, go ahead.
Because if you go through, there's 5, right? Top 5. But there's also 2. I don't know if you want to know. Do you want to take a stab at the 2 Dominican Summer League ball clubs?
Didn't know there were some, but no, I don't. Got it. Jeez.
Okay. Well, that'd be the Brewers Blue and the Brewers Gold. So it wasn't terribly imaginative.
Was unaware of that.
Okay.
All right.
The name of the rookie ball team. This is rookie. That means we draft you and it's late and we just send you off to rookie ball.
So I believe it's in Helena. Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to stop you right there?
Am I wrong already?
Yeah.
0 for 1. What is it?
Yeah, the rookie ball team is just down in Phoenix, and they're the Brewers. That's it.
Is that it's just the summer league team now? Is that what they're calling that?
No, they call it rookie ball.
They do call it rookie ball.
Hence, that's why I said it.
Rookie ball used to be in Montana. Now, I'm not wrong on that, right?
I think that for a time might have been the low A minors, but that's okay.
All right.
Rookie ball. All right. So now there's A and there's high A.
Shoot.
So give me the A ball club.
That was the T-Rats for the longest time, but they're the high A.
Okay, so good. We're on the board. We're going to give you that. We were going to go in order, but we'll give you. You're on the board for high A.
Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, A+.
There you go. Number
4. I don't know where that is. Where is it? Give me the name of the city first.
It's kind of like Appleton and Grand Chute, which I'm still trying to sort out because they're way more finicky about that than they used to be.
Okay.
This is in a suburb of Raleigh.
Oh, man. I'm going to know it when you say it.
Carolina Mudcats.
Okay. Carolina.
That's the A-ball team.
So that's 4. All right.
And
3.
So we got Carolina Mudcats is 5. Timberwolves high A. Good for you. Got one there.
Timber Rattlers. Yep.
Timber Rattlers, excuse me, is there. So
okay.
That's 3. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Good. By the way, nice job on your defending your Joe Thomas pick. But anyway, where's Double A?
Biloxi Shuckers.
There you go. Right in. See, now you're just there's no stopping you now.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows the AAA team because they get called up from there all the time.
The Nashville Sounds.
That's AAA. Good. So for a bonus, Give me the ABA team that was known as the Sounds. ABA.
No idea.
For 1 year.
Lacrosse?
No, that's the CBA.
Oh, sorry. Wrong letter. What was it?
Yes, but as guys will tell you, the difference between the CBA and the NBA is a constant reminder that you have not made it.
True.
The Memphis Sounds was the ABA team, and then they were also called for a time the Memphis Tams, and their logo was a tam o' shanter hat. But the Tams was for Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi because Memphis is right there.
Interesting.
And they were owned by Charlie Finley, and so they were green and yellow and white like the Oakland A's that Charlie Finley owned. But we are way, 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 way off base here. You should know better than to let me digress like that. Move on.
We were doing good. Back to Craig.
You were outstanding in this. Nice job.
Appreciate it. It helped that Jesus Mate got called up to the Shuckers today. Definitely was all over the news this morning. Appreciate you. We're back. The Inside Wisconsin Show. Trevor John and Craig Coshun of the Milwaukee Brewers. Craig, we talked to you about big moments earlier, and you didn't bring up what I thought you were going to in terms of a potentially biggest moment. You got to call one of the no-hitters. You were pinch hitting that day in the broadcast booth, and lo and behold, the no-hitter happens. Take us there.
Well, it's funny. I was filling in occasionally as play-by-play, for a few years, and you never know what's going to happen, especially in this game of baseball, until you show up to the ballpark and the team does its thing. And ironically, that same storyline Bill Schroeder had when he caught the franchise's first no-hitter. He was not scheduled to start that day. And so he was put in, just before the game began and ends up catching a no-hitter. So it was kind of like one of those scenarios. So yeah, Rock and I got to call that game together. It was during the COVID times, unfortunately, where, announcers, still didn't travel with the team, and the Brewers were in Cleveland for that one, and Burns and Hader combined for that no-hitter. A lot of people are like, oh, you know what, but combined no-hitter, it's just not the same thing. And I get that. But man, when you're calling the game and watching the game and you're a true fan, it was really something pretty special. There's no doubt about that. And believe me, come about the fifth inning, you realize there's something special going on here. And then the next question is, can it continue? And, Burns was just locked in big time. And, you bring in Hader after that, at that point, those two guys were the best 1-2 punch in baseball.
I've said this on the show before. Juan Nieves, who threw the first one, he and my son went to the same high school.
There you go.
At Avon Old Farms out there in Connecticut. So you mentioned Rock. You said you were filling in. So I'm just looking through here with BA and Sophia and Levering and Grindle. Frank Caliendo once said that he loved doing imitations of people at ESPN because it was like its own Simpsons community. I feel like with the number of people you have, like you guys have your own also Simpson community, right? Like what's that group as a whole? Because, I get you're on the TV side, but you do the radio. Like you run with all these crowd. What is that community like?
Well, it's just an unbelievable.
And I hope it's demented and crazy and nuts.
Of course it is. And you know what, though? We missed the one guy that kind of helped run the show, of course, in Bob Uecker. So yeah, there's a lot of great stories I could tell, but I don't know if I can tell. But the community is great. These guys are unbelievable. You think, I've been around 25 years. This is Rock's 31st year. So we've got these guys pretty good. I think BA is I don't know, 18 maybe years, something like that, 19. So he's right behind. Soph's been around I think for 12, 13, maybe 14 years. Jeff's been around for at least 10. And Lane's been around, right after that too. So it's pretty cool. And we're side by side up there. I wish we had the hotel room adjoining doors, and we could open up that wall, because it would be even tighter, I think, and we'd be able to tell better stories as the game is actually progressing. But they're great. And, I traveled for a long time with these guys. I don't travel anymore, but the traveling thing is where you really come together, and having that opportunity to do that for a long time. That's where you create the bonds. You don't so much at home, because everyone's got to be, with their family during their, when the game's over and before the game starts and stuff, and you understand that. But on the road, you are each other's family. Sophia's our little sister, Rock's our big brother. I provide the drinks normally, so we do what we do. But it's a lot of fun to be around these guys, and you go back to and you say what we talked about earlier. It's not work. You never work a day in your life, and you don't if you're with the right people and the right type of family members.
So you touched, without saying his name, about Bob Uecker, and that's usually Trevor's question, and he'll get to that, I'm sure. I'm gonna flip the other side, because I think it is, it's been a while, and so sometimes that fades. But you can replace other people on your set, their analysis, their knowledge. But what can't be replaced with Dave Nelson not being there with you anymore?
Man, he was, well, I mean, I can say, Rock is like a best friend, and he is, and Vinny Rotino is like a best friend, and he really is. But Davey was a best friend, because I think, John, at that time, I was still a little bit newer to the host role, and our coverage was only expanding, and Davey was part of that. And he went straight from coaching to doing this TV gig with us. But I think, in all honesty, he taught me the most about the game of baseball when it just comes to, inside stories and friendships, and how teams are built, and how teammates become teammates, and what the respect of the game is. And so there was that. And then, but for a personal thing, my kids were still young when he was around, and they came to the ballpark a lot. I lived at that time outside of Madison, and Davey would come over to spend time with us. When we could, we went up north to Eagle River, all of us as a family together, and took Davey with us. And he was just such a father figure type. I remember one of the first times we all went out to eat, when we did all the Wisconsin Dells shows for that 10-year period of time, where we all went up there for a full weekend. And so we all took our families up there, and we went out to dinner one night after a show. And one of my boys said, "Dad, do you think we could ask Davey to be our godfather?" Oh. And I said, absolutely, he'd love that. So they both went up to him, and they asked him at the restaurant. And of course, he just was oohing and on and all that. And the special thing about Davey, when he passed away, I kind of hosted our memorial to him at the ballpark when the franchise honored him before the game later in the season, kind of like how they did was with you, but it was a little more private. But we must have had 1,000 people up there. And I helped put that together. And as I did, I think one of the coolest things I found out was, I thought I was Davey's best friend, and found out he had about 100,000 people who thought the same thing. And then their kids, man, we had people that were 40, 45 years old come up and go, Davey was my godfather. I'm like, think how long that was going on with kids and everybody's lives that he touched. So that was, you just can't replace that. You just can't. As much as I could go on and on about all my guys right now, that's just, it touched every aspect of my life having him in it.
The broadcasters in Wisconsin, whether it's Brewers or Bucks or Packers, are a big deal. I've explained that to John, knowing that John doesn't live here, and he's a longtime broadcaster himself. But Every time my mom goes to a Brewers game during the day, I get a text. Where do they sit again? Are they in right field, left field? Where are they behind the plate? Have you noticed that too, Craig, that in regards to just being a broadcaster for these teams in this state, it's just different?
It is. I mean, I really feel like, well, first of all, the Packer fans and the Packers organization set the tone. I mean, it doesn't get any more genuine and family and small town, and it's protected. I mean, they're going to be around for as long as the NFL wants them around, and believe me, you guys know they want them around. So that they started it. But I'll tell you what, I've always said this. I really feel, and it's going back to my days growing up as a Brewer fan too, all the way to going games when Hank Aaron, put on the Brewer uniform as well, and we'd sit out there in the left field bleachers. This state loves baseball, and this state appreciates the fact that for 6 months there's something going on every single day. This team plays every single day, and to have the opportunity to go to these games, and here's a stupid little small story. I get a kick out of people who are coming to these games. There's 42,000 people coming to every game lately, and half of them have this huge carrying bag. They're they're bringing their own food and their own water and beverages in, as long as they're not beer. What organization allows people to do that? Nobody else does in this state, and no one else does in the country. They're letting people come. They're buying a ticket and coming in, and the Brewers are like, we want you to buy our stuff, but we get why you can't. We just want you to come to the ballpark and tailgate and do whatever you want to do. That's how you just keep bringing people in, and I think fans here, feel appreciated, and they have an understanding of where this team is as far as how they're going about their business too. I know, people will complain about not signing a player and why are they trading away somebody, and why can't they keep certain guys, but overall, people get it. I mean, you wouldn't pack this place out and TV ratings be up and this franchise is where it is unless you didn't have that fan support.
Yeah, Trevor talks about that. Maybe I'm just jealous because you're Eau Claire, Madison, Milwaukee. I'm like, how is I can never get a job? I applied for more jobs in Wisconsin. Just nobody. I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's the Packer Anderson that put his foot down on me, and that's why I never got it. But I don't know. Do you have any checks from Pat Murphy's check game?
No, I don't.
You've never
think
gotten
so.
a check. That's clean living right there. That's pretty
Well,
darn.
That's kind of why I'm still sitting in this chair. I think I don't get in anybody's way, John.
So, if this team succeeds in when it gets to October, what's going to determine the success? Where's this thing going to come down to? And I don't need just because everybody's going to go, well, you got to pitch well. I got it. Help me with that. Help me go one more layer off the onion, if you would.
No, and that's going to be it. But I mean, it's beyond that. In my opinion, we've talked about this a little bit too, just among us announcers and stuff. This particular team can't change. They can't change how they're going about their business. They can't have somebody that doesn't hit home runs try to hit home runs for some reason. They can't have somebody try to make a flashy play out in the field when that's just not who they are. They just have to remain who they are, and they have to understand still to the day that's to come what their role is on the team, and I think if they stay within themselves, they don't need to do anything different. They don't need to pitch better. They don't need to hit better. They don't need to field better. They just have to understand what their roles are. And the only thing that's really going to change when it comes to postseason is the pitching staff. The usage is going to tighten up. And from series to series, should they continue to win, that pitching staff's probably going to change a little bit, and guys are going to be either on and some are going to be left off that were on. And they have to understand that that's part of the process as much as they want to be there. Those are, I think, are hard things for teams in the postseason to understand. But as long as they they stay true to who they are, I don't think they need to do anything better than what they're doing right now. And I don't think it's going to be a key. We all understand in the postseason, you need to pitch better and you need to hit more home runs because that's, their key moments. Well, I think this team just needs to keep doing what they're doing and stay true to who they are.
I was doing a really good job of squirreling money away for Brewers playoff tickets. And then Garth Brooks got announced in Milwaukee today. I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh,
He's a has-been.
No, he's not. No,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
who
not.
hasn't seen Garth Brooks already somewhere? Come on.
3 times, and I'm going for a 4th. It's in June of next
He's
year.
a legacy act. A lot of times he's playing people back. He's playing people's backyards and charity golf tournaments. Legacy act.
Exactly.
Or stadiums. All right, we'll argue about that during the break. One more to go. Craig Coshun on the Inside Wisconsin Show. Do you know how I know my wife Amanda watches our show, John? Because every time she has the opportunity to troll me based on something that you say, she does. And so we're on our way to a Packers get-together for the game over the weekend, and we have to stop at the Quick Trip to pick up a case of Miller Lite. And she comes out and looks at me and goes, man, this is so heavy. That's all your fault. That is all.
Did you have it up on her shoulder, too?
She exactly did right here. Yeah.
Well, listen, that's better than the answer I was going to give, which was not tonight, dear. I'm watching the show. And I thought maybe that's how.
That wasn't it. No, that wasn't it. It was just getting trolled with Miller Lite. Yeah, I mean, football memories have begun.
Pearls with it, right? 50 sets of 50, and you're you're pumped up and ready to go.
Like Craig Coshun was awesome with I want a beer in my hand whenever. Me too, man. Me too. So it's football season now. We're making memories, and all of them revolve around having a beer and watching the game, whether you're at Lambeau or like I was on my buddy's couch waiting for them to get home from tailgating, drinking Miller Lite.
So do you find that you're a steady consumer of the product? Or if things are going well, you will have more. Or if things are going poorly, you have more or less. Because everybody, when it's going well, will be like, yeah, pass me another one, we're good. I'm curious sometimes when things are not going as well.
So I was not at this game this time, but I do think that if they do well, you consume and celebrate more versus you're not drinking your sorrows away by any means. But it's a very sound business model here in Wisconsin because if someone dies, they usually have some beers in honor, right? And when someone's born, they usually have some beers at the baptism. Yeah, cheers. Congratulations. Oh, that's funny. Only in Wisconsin. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/inside Wisconsin to find options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. How much does a case of beer weigh? I'll figure that out.
We did that one time.
I think we figured out how much heavier the 16 ounces were.
Yeah, right. It added, Good of her. I can't always be there to put you in your place. You need other people once in a while to watch over it.
It's working.
Yep.
Back to wrap it up with Craig Coshun on the Inside Wisconsin Show. 2 for me. The Euchre question's coming, and then the lightning round for sure. Let's go Lambeau first. I like asking this question for sure. You work all the Brewers games. You work all the Bucks games. Do you get to come to Lambeau and let your hair down?
Yeah, you bet. Not as often as than I would like to, but if I can get up there once a year, that's pretty much the goal. And last year, the fine people at Miller invited Rock and I and our wives up. And so we sat up in their suite last year and right at the 50-yard line, it was the 49er game. It was absolutely wonderful. It was perfect. And yes, unfortunately, you let your hair down even more when there's that cooler of beer back there you can keep grabbing. So
that helps.
Yeah, it helps a little bit. We had a good time for sure.
Got your own bathroom in there too. That helps.
Yes.
All right. So you mentioned it earlier that there are some stories that you can't share, but there's got to be a good story that you can share about all the years you spent with Bob Uecker.
Oh, wow. Man, one of my favorite stories, I told this to a broadcast I was on when he passed away. I'll try to shorten this up because it was over a span of days when the Astros were in the National League with us still. I don't know how many times we went down there. Yeah, I think we took 3 trips there and they took 3 trips up. I think that's how the schedule worked up. So we were down there all the time. And when we would bus from the hotel to the ballpark, the bus driver there would pull up to the driveway and then he would back in. But as soon as he started backing in, I remember the first time, you immediately start going down almost like a 45-degree angle. And then he had to turn on another tight 90-degree angle to go all the way down. We must have gone down 4 stories into the ground, down to the playing surface. And so he backs in. I mean, this guy is a genius. And I think we're on a 4-game trip there. On Thursday, Uke is amazed that this guy just does this in like 20 seconds. And he says, I want to try that. And, everyone's laughing. Come Friday, Uke goes, I'm serious. I want to try this. And everyone laughs again. He goes, you guys think I'm kidding. Come Saturday, he is pressing this guy. I want to do this. I really want to try this. I think I can pull this off. Well, the last game of a series on getaway day, the team and the broadcasters are usually together on a bus. And so we had everybody with us when we went to the ballpark on that Sunday morning. And man, he was all over this bus driver. And Uke sits in the front row, right behind the bus drivers. And so sure as heck, this guy does his wide turn and pulls up backwards into the driveway, stops the bus and says, go ahead, let's give it a shot. And so Uke jumped in there faster than a kid, in a candy store for free. And so he starts backing this bus up. And now again, this bus driver probably did this in about 20 or 30 seconds normally. It took us maybe 5 to 10 minutes, but Uke pulled it off. And we were all, the first trip down, we were like, oh my God, the bus is going back and forth like this. He can't get all the way used to the brake and the accelerator and whatnot. But man, he pulled it off and we got down and it was, everyone, biggest ovation you ever did here on a little old bus. But man, that was just Uke. If he was going to go do something and try it, it was going to happen. And so that's one of my favorite stories with Uke. I mean, all the other ones, nobody can tell all the other ones, but that was a fun one for us for sure.
That's why I ask. See?
Yeah, it was fun.
As a guy of minimal athletic skill who often had to drive the team van, I'm like, I'm in. That's my story right there. That's how I managed to stay on during some lean moments when my performance would have dictated that perhaps I should have been a full-time student when it comes through. So anyway, all right, Trev, I get to line up some of these and just fire away.
The floor is yours. You got it.
All right, these are quick. All right, great. We're just going to fire them off.
All right.
Which former UW-Whitewater football coach got his ass handed to him this weekend by the University of Missouri?
That would be Lance Leipold.
42-31. You all right, Trev?
I'm good.
Sorry I had to do that, Lance. I mean, I don't know.
Do you prefer getting up for a day game or staying up late for a night game?
Getting up for a day game.
Okay. What would be your pocket snack of choice these days?
Not chocolate, that's for sure. Even though I work with some people who put candy bars in their pocket. So that's how I'll leave it.
Right. Okay. The other day, the quesadilla, I'm like, dude, that's just gross, but okay. So we know the nature of the Brewers franchise, the financial reality. Okay. Give me a player that he's left. I hold no ill will, but give me a player that's kind of left on that route that you really just miss as a person.
I'm going to go with Willie Adames, and I know he's the most recent, but I say that because this team didn't function well for the first 2 months of the season on the field and in the clubhouse without him. I mean, they were a little bit lost, especially on the field without him. So that took a while. The other guys that have left, I know this is supposed to be quick. The other guys that have left, they have left, and that's been it. The other guy would probably be, the Josh Hader impact too, but I think that was a kind of a no-brainer because it was in the middle of the year. Like, what are they doing? But the Willie Damas, like, they were lost the first 2 months. They just were.
That's BA said that the whole organization changed when he showed up. Like that's one of that was, if you're looking for a catalyst when he arrived, that set a lot of this thing in motion that's continuing today, to be sure. Favorite ball player as a kid?
Boy, that's a good one. Man, there were so many.
Cecil Cooper's an acceptable answer.
No, Gorman Thomas. Gorman Thomas.
Very good.
Sure. Yeah.
We like that. You don't travel as much, but I know the nomadic nature of the business. How many times have you awakened in a hotel and got, wait, what city am I in?
Several, but there was one in particular when I was traveling and we came in way overnight, like at 5, 6 in the morning in Denver. And I took my nap and woke up and all my luggage was in my room that I did not bring up when we went to bed. So that kind of scared me a little bit.
Nice. Do you have a favorite road city?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to laugh at this, but for the summertime, I think going on the road and going to Chicago is a blast myself. It's so easy to get around and whatnot that, and there's so many great places to go, and it's easy for family to get to and friends. So that's one of my favorites.
Perch or walleye?
Walleye.
Okay. Do you think Joe Thomas was one of the 100 best players ever at the University of Wisconsin?
Yeah, for sure. And I called his high school championship game.
Yeah. Trevor doesn't have him cracking the top 100 ever.
Fifth. I had him fifth. This is going to follow me on this show forever.
Okay. I was in Verona for the NCAA cross country championships last fall. How come you didn't show up? Not for me. The championship.
Because I don't live there anymore.
I don't care. You know the way. There's not many people that do.
Was it at the high school?
No, it was at the golf course. Out of the golf course.
Oh, what was it?
The NCAA cross country championships.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Fine. That said, what's your best 10K time?
Oh God. A day?
That's fine. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. Listen, anybody can spell. No, who are you kidding? Nobody can spell Antetokounmpo. So spell Michael Redd's last name.
R-E-D-D.
There you go. 2 D's. Don't want to ever miss on that. What's the most Wisconsin thing about you?
That I like to have a beer in my hand whenever I can.
Good. Trevor, do you need a Kleenex, Trevor, for that answer?
Me and you both.
Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, or Major League?
Major League. Just love the humor.
Mm-hmm. And shot in Milwaukee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Packers record this season.
How many games do they play this year in the NFL? I think whatever it is, they're going to go unbeaten, of course. I mean, they proved it yesterday.
Saving that.
I don't even know how many games they play.
17.
That's bold, and that'll make you really happy. Finally, I want to know, what's your greatest athletic achievement?
Going into broadcasting.
Sometimes man's got to know his limitations, right?
I just told you this Brewer team's gotta know who they are. I know who I am.
There you go. Listen, I told a student the other day, though, because even though you don't play all the time, like, I know when you should turn a double play. That doesn't change from little league to the majors. And I tell them, whenever a coach says to you, have you ever played the game at this level? That's when you know you've won the argument. Right? Because
Yes.
I can tell when a guy missed a block. I know when a guy, hung a curveball. Right. I can't throw it, but I know what it looks like. I've seen enough games that you can do that. So going into broadcasting, I love that. I think we probably are a match for that. So,
yeah.
Craig, hey, thanks so much. I tell you, the one thing that always chaps me and and maybe it shouldn't because of my employer for so many years. But you watch these teams all through the regular season, right? And I'm at my desk in Connecticut, but I can pop you guys up. My favorite thing is always to text BA, what a thing. And then he'll go, actually, I'm not doing this game. It's levering, which happens way more often than it does when he's actually in the chair, But I watch you guys all the time and some early playoffs. And then when the big stuff comes, boom, here comes ESPN and we Bigfoot you. And we lose kind of what I talked about, institutional knowledge. All the people that have all the stories from the whole year that could really give me the granular stuff I'm looking for. So know that I appreciate it when I see it in the regular season, and I miss it when we get to the playoffs and we don't see enough of you guys. And I have said this to all the guys that have been on this program and gals with Sophia. The Brewers, which is the team I want to succeed more than anything, is blessed with great people and storytellers. And, we may be in a small market, but we have big market talent that bring our games to us all the time. And I appreciate it. And thanks so much for being on our show today.
Well, that's nice of you to say, John. And we just love doing what we're doing. And I agree with you. We do miss when all of a sudden the regular season ends, and then we have to go sit in the stands and become sports fans. But you know what? That ain't a bad thing all the time either.
And put a beer in your hand. That's exactly where you're meant to be.
That's right. I can't go for one yet. I got to work today.
There you go.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks
for having me, guys. Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
We want you to do a whole lot more than just save money. We want your money to grow, just like your dreams. We want you to achieve financial well-being and the feelings that go along with that. Capital Credit Union, doing the right thing.
I didn't say it, but he went there when I was a senior year in high school. 2001, didn't bring it up. I usually get yelled at for that, but that's how long he's been there, man. 25 plus years. Pretty cool.
Did you get your name in the paper for him, or did he broadcast any of yours?
There was a time when he was in Madison and one of our football games popped up on Channel 15, so I remember that pretty well.
Yeah, listen, I remember when Bill Jarts came out and I was having this really great senior year. Well, listen, it was the only year I hadn't tried. But he came out and did a story, and I remember how cool it was. Like, oh my gosh, Bill Jarts just came and he said my name on TV,
Yeah, I grew up, and I've shared this with you before, but I'm doing what I'm doing because I grew up idolizing guys like you and guys like him and all the other broadcasters that Wisconsin's blessed with. So when we have him on the show, it's just fun to hear the behind the scenes inside scoop. That's what this is, inside Wisconsin.
Yeah. And now I tell people all the time, put me on TV. I'm like, I can do a lot more good by not putting you on TV or keeping your name out of the paper, but that's what it is. Anyway, we're spoiled. Listen, we're spoiled with really good Brewers announcers and we're spoiled right now with a really good team.
We'll take it. We'll take that. We'll take what happened with the Packers last time, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah. And or what happened with, I'm sorry your boy Leopold had to take it, in the shorts, but this happened.
Amanda and I were watching that game, and I said, this is a crazy thing right now because right in the beginning, Kansas was up. Okay. And I was like, oh, God, John is going to be crabby. Right. Then Missouri went up, and I'm like, Leipold's going to be crabby. And it ended in your favor. And on we go with life. Can you just?
I'm not sure Krabby would have captured it.
No, it would not have. It would not have. I was frankly terrified. I didn't know. I was fully expecting me to text you about what was next with the show and who do we got coming up and what are the dates and times. And your response was going to be, "I'm currently unavailable for comment."
Yeah, I had some people text me and it was just like, I'm going to throw up or I hate everybody, the standard stuff.
Yeah.
So, and so I'm going to tell you a John, Wisconsin that is literally 48 hours fresh.
Okay, let's go.
This is a nice young man that has just started at the TV station in Wausau. Mr. Anderson, I followed your career. It was very complimentary. I know you're from this part of the country. You grew up here. And he goes, I think you started here. Do you have some time to visit with me? Would you be kind enough to do that? I get those a lot, and I try to answer them all the time because people were really good to me when I was young. So I go to look up this guy. That's how I know they have 4 weathermen, and they have, one sports guy. And I look, and of course I'm going to do this. He goes to the University of Kansas.
Oh, no. I was fearful of that.
Nope. So I just click return, and then I just put Mizzou 42, KU 31, send, and I let it sit for an hour.
Did he respond?
No. And then I wrote back, hey, happy to do that. I just wanted to get this out of the air, clear out of the air. Oh, by the way, we thumped you guys. You're terrible. But of course, anytime I didn't really start there. I was in, Oklahoma, but I was back recently in Wausau, saw the Woodchucks play the Rockers. And, we'll find some time. Let's do it for sure. It'll be great. But that's how big a jerk I am. Some kid I don't know who's 23, who sends this really heartfelt, nice note. He wants to know what to do in his career. Can I help? And I just sent back 42-31. Click.
Oops.
And let it sit for an hour.
Did I click send too early? My bad on that. Sorry about that.
Well, all right.
Oh
I think afterwards I thought, because I first thought, well, I'll do this and I'll have two of them. I'll have the one ready to go. I'll say click and then I can cut and paste this other one. And I thought, no. So we just click Mizzou 42, KU 31. And then when he sent it back, he did send back. He goes, ha ha ha. He goes, I guess I didn't realize something about that. And he goes, but I'm like, it's good. He goes, it still stings. And I was nice. I'm like, good. I hope it stings till you go to the grave, but that's fine.
Do you have when do you play them next?
Next year in Larry, and then there's about a 4-year. Then I think it's back again in 30 and 31 or 31 and 32. But this was the one that was really important. 1 year at home.
Yeah.
1 year at home, and you haven't played in 14 years, so you kind of want the get back game.
Got it.
So
success. Thanks for sending me some of the pictures that you did. I was living vicariously through you, and I wouldn't be caught dead at one of those games because
I said to some folks, there was a lot of betting that was sacrificed to be hung off balconies this week here in town.
Ooh, yeah.
And I agree with all of it. Honestly, I read most of it and thought, yeah, I'm sort of in agreement with a lot of it.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Did you give the pep talk in the football locker room?
I did go talk to him. About 2 weeks ago, I went in and so Reese Davis texted me. He goes, hey, Drink says you talked to the team. Is there anything you can tell me more inflammatory, the better, LOL. And I'm like, listen, I don't want to go all into all the terrible things, but I did say to him, I said, listen, you guys, you can beat Alabama and Auburn, OU, and you might go to the college football playoff. So, which is great. But I said, this game is actually important. I don't know what this is the important game. So they pulled up. That was good. It all worked out well. And then, I got a bunch of run because I did SEC Nation games. It was so great. I got to see tons of old friends. I say old friends. They're still friends. Marty Smith and Ryan McGee and Feinbaum and Laura Rutledge. And I hadn't seen Tebow in forever. And so he's like, this is their son. I'm like, look how big he was. Tim was great. Good to see all these people. So I did a hit with Marty on Friday in the fire truck that takes, cheerleaders down to and from. And so I just had this journalism shirt on, right? It says, why shall be the bearers of light. And just before I got in the truck, I took it off and I had a T-shirt the one that's got the outline of that state that just says worst state ever.
Yeah.
And man, I got so many people that sent back, where do I get this shirt that you go online now? And it literally says John Anderson's worst state ever shirt.
Wow.
Places now where you can order them. So
awesome. That's
crazy.
Great.
The fire truck's good. My daughter, Katie, whenever we were here, when she was, this big, she always rode with the cheerleaders and Truman down. She'd get on with them and then drive around and then I'd go pick her up on the field. And she probably, if she did it once, she did it 6-7 times. So the first time we go to a Packer game and we park across the street, she's just incredulous. Like, what do you mean got to walk across the street? Like, is there not some sort of emergency vehicle that will now take me down to the field level of Lambeau Field? I'm like, yeah, that's not how things work. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, oh well, we'll talk about the Packers later. Those, gosh, how good did they look, by the way?
Man,
pretty sure Lucas Van Ness is on his way to his first Pro Bowl.
First 2 out of 3 tackles. You're welcome. I didn't blow your phone up at all.
No, because they played the other 59 minutes too.
They did. I don't know how many more tackles he had, but I noticed he had the first 2 out of the 3. All right. As we wrap this week on the Inside Wisconsin show, we head back to another episode of Deeper Roots with our friends at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. We are in Janesville, Wisconsin today. And John,
yes,
I went water skiing and I'm unharmed.
That's phenomenal.
To direct a team this size, got 6 boats. We've got 5 barges. We have 2 pickup boats. We have another, what we call a mobile or speedy barge to transport skiers. It's literally what I would like to call an armada out on the water.
Farmers, brewers, hunters, packers, badgers, cheeseheads, neighbors. No matter what name we go by, we are bound together by our roots. These are the people, the stories, and the patriotism from inside Wisconsin. Welcome to Deeper Roots with Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Another episode of Deeper Roots with our friends at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. We are in Janesville, where Blaine's Farm and Fleet's home is. We are with the Rock Aqua Jays, the ski show team here in Janesville. Not just any ski show team, the 24-time national champion ski show team. Tim Cullen, he's the president. Dave Raisin, he's the guy that puts the whole thing together that we'll see on the water later. Hey, congrats on the most recent national championship that happened here.
Days ago, we hosted the 50th national tournament because we hosted the very first one back in 1975. So the team came around in 1961, right here in Janesville, right at Trexler Park, or in this area here. Developed and organized over the years, and in 1975 we said, let's start our first national tournament. 9 teams showed up, mostly from Wisconsin, and from there it grew up to about 30 teams in the first decade of the tournament alone. And here we come back around 2025, so happy to bring it back home.
Dave, you're the program director, for lack of better terms. You're the one that comes up with all the things that your team does on the river. There is a world record that you own for tallest pyramid, and as a guest of yours, I would like to not be involved with a pyramid.
Let's just say that we won't put you on top of the pyramid, probably. If we put you anywhere, it would be on the bottom. We actually hold a number of records. We hold the record for the first 3 high pyramid, the first 4 high pyramid, and the first 5 high pyramid. And what that is different tiers of the pyramid. So when you talk about the tallest pyramid, that's at 5 high. I mean, these girls' heads are 24 feet above the surface of the water.
1961, the Rock Aqua Jays, which is a unique name. So tell me about the name first, and whose idea was this to start a show?
They were the collection of water skiers in Janesville. We're performing upriver from here, and they call it Aquacade. A couple times a year they perform at a different park. Then in the early 60s, about 61, they started saying, let's gather together down river a little bit farther. There used to be a swim house right here, a swim clubhouse, and the city said, why don't you guys go ahead and use that? So they started to collect together, added some more people in there, and they called it the Rock Aqua Jays. Come from 3 words: rock from the Rock River, or Rock County, whichever one you want to take a pick from. Aqua is Latin word for water, and Jays was the Janesville Jays, the high school mascot. The show aspect of it, putting the shows together, about a 60-minute show twice a week, started in about the 70s. You get to about 73, 74, you started having other teams compete, and that's when Janesville started collecting more and more skiers.
Dave, you talked about the production side of this and how you put a show, a literal show together that lasts an hour. How did you learn that? Where did you start?
One unique part about this sport is that it is so family oriented. What other sport, whether it be here on the Aqua Jays or just going out with family, that you can go ahead, climb in a boat for 4, 5, 6, 8 hours, spend some close time with family and enjoy the day. And then we just go ahead and kind of transform that into a performance down here. Try to go ahead and think outside the box each year. We've had themes that are takeoffs of movies, TV shows. To direct a team this size, got 6 boats. We've got 5 barges. We have 2 pickup boats. We have another, what we call a mobile or speedy barge to transport skiers. It's literally what I would like to call an armada out on the water. We offer family-friendly entertainment twice a week, free of charge. We pack the stands.
Do you notice that the audience that you perform for has a connection to the sport, or is it really just a community event that becomes something that families go to?
I think the one thing that sets our club apart from a lot of others is that the community involvement is unprecedented. All that our community does to support us, we could not be where we are or as successful as what we are without them.
All of this, you guys, is by volunteer.
Volunteer, nobody's paid to do this. We've had a lot of success over the year raising funds and buying equipment from the multiple skis and jumps and all the pieces that go together for a show. The barges that we make, and then all the equipment, but then all the costumes have to be made too. That alone is a full-time job for somebody that doesn't get paid to do this.
If you could tell people across the state of Wisconsin that will see this, why they should either get involved with their nearest ski team or support it, what would you say?
It's a treat to get out here and enjoy something together with your own family members, people around your same age, get on the water, do a sport, be competitive with it, but also have a lot of fun. It's a very unique sport that you get to put costumes on and go out and water ski and come back in and people applaud for it. I haven't seen anybody get involved and not like it. It's one of those things where you get involved, you kind of get addicted to it, and you're around for multiple years.
A lot of these communities have local ski teams. They're looking to increase their membership. They're wanting to spend time on increasing individual skill level and teaching and mentoring them. I don't see a downside to it.
I'm about to show you the downside.
Okay.
We're gonna get into a boat and prove that not everybody can do what these guys do. Tim, it's time to teach me how to ski for the first time in 25 years.
Are you ready for this?
Ready, sure, yeah. Camera equipment and microphones don't work great in the water.
Okay.
So you're mic'd up. I'm gonna hand off the mic. I'm gonna get in the water. You're gonna tell me what to do and how to do it. I'm gonna say a couple prayers. We're gonna be all right.
You got this.
Yeah, here
You're
we
gonna get wet. Okay, he's in. Yep, clear. We're gonna come around and get this bar close to you, and then it's gonna happen pretty quick. We're gonna have you bend your knees. We're gonna take it up nice and slow. There you go. Perfect. Perfect, just like that. Okay, bend the knees up into you. Here we go. And we're taking off. Look at that. Hang on, easy. Perfect. Perfect. Let your arms out a little bit. There you go. Now you can wave. He's a natural. He's got it first time. No problem. I think he's ready to go barefooting next. Maybe over the jump. Arms are tired. I bet. Yeah, hang on for the wave now. Bend the knees again. There you go. Absorb that. Nice. Hey, hey. Are you ready to join the ski team now? Nope. Nope, not yet. Next summer. Wave to them. Good.
What is the mission of the Rock Aqua Jays, and how do you inspire others to get involved and be a part of this?
It starts with the people and the culture. The culture of the team has been, it's not with just winning. People think you're all about winning. Well, it's how you define winning, right? Winning could be the total at the end of the tournament, but winning is also treating people with respect, showing the next generation how to do and act, how to treat the other skiers, how to put things together. It's not always the same people. Each year is a different team. There must be something more than just the people. It must be the way that we're all expected to, act and behave.
We kind of had a slogan this year. We want to be good today. We want to be better tomorrow. And that's what we constantly strive to. It's not necessarily being better than another team. Certainly we love being competitive, but if we know that we're pushing ourselves night in and night out, we're constantly becoming better.
How many generations from one family are still involved in the Rock Aqua Jays today?
I think there's 3 generations at least, and we've been around since 1961. Almost like expected. If your family grows up in the ski team, they have fun, they want to stick around with it, then here comes the next one and the next one. There's multiple families on the team.
We have multiple kids that are born into the team. Essentially, they're starting skiing at age 2, and they're on their team their entire lives.
It's incredible. Thank you for having us out. It's been really cool to be a part of the history of this, see it happen on the water. There's more communities around Wisconsin that can see this and go, man, we should start something. There's something to serving your community with your talents, and that's what you guys do. So thanks for letting us come out and tell your story.
Love it. Thank you.
That was a success.
How was it for you?
It was good. Once I got up, I don't remember from being a kid how hard it was to hold on. Look at that, I'm shaking. And I've come to the conclusion that it's because I'm a lot heavier. Harder to hold this up than it was
The physics of it all.
when I was 19 years old.
This afternoon, I heard you had an opportunity to try skiing. How did it go?
I guess it went well. I didn't wipe out. I'm not broken.
Yeah, you're not at the hospital.
Tell me about your worst wipeout.
I skied for the United States team. I was upside down doing what we call a gainer, and a ski came into my teeth, and it blew out my teeth. I had to have reconstructive surgery on my face. Didn't do any good. But.
I don't know about that. Your teeth look great. We made quite the splash with this episode of Deeper Roots with our friends at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. I cannot believe I stayed upright out there on the boom. My arms still tingling. Can't believe I stayed up. No injuries. That's key. No injuries. A special thanks to Tim and Dave for sharing their passion for community and for water sports with us. While their national championship season, for the 24th time, by the way, is now over for 2025, don't sleep on next season. Memorial Day through Labor Day, you can keep tabs online at rockaquajays.com and follow them on social. Really cool stuff. You know what would be even cooler? Telling us your story. Head to farmandfleet.com/deeperroots. Fill out the entry form for your chance to be our next guest. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, let us know that you enjoyed the episode. If you're listening to the podcast, 5 stars. We appreciate you.
Talk to you later. Bye.